All right, we are live. Hope everyone's doing well today. Wednesday, rainy day in my area, gray day. We had nice sun for 2 days. It was really nice. Just want that sun, man, all the time. Days without the sun are tough, completely tough days. But let's get into the days. Let's get into the market. Let's see what's going on. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin down 1.2%. Ethereum down 1.9 after big pumps, though, holding these levels. If we want to see Ethereum hold 160, 165, Bitcoin holds 7100 to 80, 7250 area. Bitcoin Cash up 2.4%. Bitcoin SV still pumping, up another 8.92% at 207. Litecoin down 1%. So basically, it's kind of a red day, but it's more of a neutral day. As you can see now, I seen that the Dow futures were up 300 points. Let's check on the market as it just opened up. So the Dow now up 300 points, just as we said, almost to the T. No, to the exact T. So that was correct. Now what we see here is we have a zoom up, a zoom down. We hit the bottom of the trend line, and then we gap up for the next morning. In a crypto world, we would have seen an actual hit to the trend line and do, but this kind of fulfilled its role. Like I was saying, it should have to go up to this area here at 23,700, 23, whatever. But we're over that resistance point of 21,700 that I was saying if we couldn't stay above it, they were definitely going to crash back down. We are in a rising wedge now, which has a 68% chance of a break to the downside. And I'm sitting there at a $17,000 target, about a 1660 point target. So we're not done with the pain. I think more pain is coming. And people say, why? Well, we're going to see the issues with all the unemployment. And I also don't think this lockdown is over. I think this lockdown will go into June or July. So I think we're in for a few more months of complete pain. But that's just what I'm thinking, and that's what I'm seeing, and I could be wrong. Now, gold, holding this 1650 range, really likes it. Really likes it. You can see it consolidating here on this edge. We do need to break above it and hold above it. But I could even lower this down. Yeah, we are technically right now. We did close above it. Here we're holding these ranges. What's gonna see what happened with gold, but I really think 1650. Now it did exactly what it was supposed to do. If you played this bear flag, you would have bought here at the bottom of the trend line, aggressive buy with this at 1573, and then you could have unloaded at 1670, a whole $100 gain for gold. So if you're playing a gold stock, doing something with gold, then there you go. Excuse me. JNUG 509 holding JNUG. Now JNUG seems to be just following the market. So if the market's going to tank, JNUG's going to tank. So just be careful for that. It is still creeping out of this oversold region. I want to see it kind of make its way back up. I think the whole market will have a big bounce, and we'll see JNUG get back to, I don't know, I'm going to say roughly between, high 8, maybe 9 to 11, something like that, 9 to 11 area. That's where I think we'll see JNUG. Keep looking at this Benton Resources Group. They're taking over clean air metals. Just something to watch, something to look at. Keep on your radar. I haven't bought anything. I'm not into it, but just something to think about. Also looking at this Lamar Advertising Co. at $43. They're looking pretty healthy. Seem to have like a double bottom here and then another fallback, but pretty strong on a new trend line with a higher low and another higher low. So you can see it's building a new trend. This is kind of how trends begin. So it's pretty interesting to see this. I like this company. GGG, Graco Inc., producer manufacturing industry manufacturer, is pretty good too. They announced today that it will release its fourth quarter earnings. That was on April 1st. They had good earnings, and they basically are building and industrial machinery and stuff like that. And I think they'll be involved in helping the government create what they need. So just interesting. Yeah, I never wanted to be bald. We just messed up a haircut, and then I should have went to like a 1 or a 2. I usually do a 3 at the top. I don't know how I ended up getting a 1 at the top. It just, me and my wife have never done haircuts, and it's Corona haircuts, so we don't know much, and this is what ended up happening. So, is what it is, folks. It is what it is. XBT contracts on futures still holding to 72.90. We are in again. Let's go to my daily and zoom out on the daily. When in doubt, zoom out. So this is Bitcoin in a whole. We're looking at it now. I still have this target, holding this target here of 25,000 once it breaks out of the triangle, which could easily happen and occur. So just something to think about. Bitcoin hit that bottom of the trend line with a wick down. Of course, they were stop hunting, trying to get as many people as they could who thought they were cute, who drew this and said, oh, I'll play it against, because I drew this triangle somewhere around here. this area here. We have our support and resistance lines. Let's zoom in and look at what's going on with Bitcoin. On the 4 hour, let's kind of really get into the nitty gritty here. So it's now at the tipping point of this rising wedge, right? Which is a 68% chance of break to the downside. We all know this. This is a pattern that, we don't all know this, but I'm telling you this, guys. So it's a pattern that definitely, eventually, 68% chance of breaking to the downside. But the good thing about this pattern is when it doesn't break to the downside and it breaks out, it goes on massive runs. It creates parabolic moves like boom. So if Bitcoin can hold, let's see, it's fighting this range here, right? This rangy area, this chop. Let me show you the chop. So it's fighting this chop right here. So it could chop some more. See, it went up and down and up and down, down, all the way to 64 and up. So we know there's huge resistance right here too, at this level. We're fighting that resistance, 74.50. You can see we hit it and it just said, no, 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 no. I'm not going to let you go. You will not pass go. You will not collect $200, right? Stuck in here. Well, we see a mini bull flag kind of occurring. Let's check it down on the 30-minute just to see what I see. So we could come back to the bottom of this trend line here, which is at 6698, 6700, which is very, very plausible and still go on a parabolic run. I really need to see what happens with this level here that it's holding, bouncing off this level here at the 71.75 level. Yeah, it's just something to think about, something to look at. Now, what am I doing for Bitcoin? Well, right now I'm in a Bitcoin trade. Okay, I got in at 53. I'll basically take you through what happened. I got out at 53. I got in. Got out at 53. Got in at 53. Got out at like 59. Got back in at 58.88. Got out at 65. Then I got back in at about, here we go. We got back in at about 68.35, right? Which is my stop loss now at break even. And we're up now 160 because it's only $2,400. Now my H bar was up 70 bucks at one point, but now it's sitting at 24. But I still like H bar, and let me tell you why. Let me get into that H bar trade. I still like gold too. I think gold has now really found its sweet spot. You can see this line in the sand here that we can draw. It's almost a range. I like drawing these ranges more than lines sometimes, but see, it likes this range here. Coming down to 1630, back up to 1660, came down to 1630, back up to the 1680, came back down to 1630, and here we go. Now we're not coming back down to 1630, right? We're kind of holding this range of 1650. So I also see the MACD cross, which is strong and healthy, but it could end soon too. So I think we're going to come back down a little bit and test these levels of support here. This line right here at 1636, and if we break that, we'll just drop down a little more to 1640. And then, of course, 1600 and then 1575. You can see we have a big, big, strong support here. As we bounced, we wicked off of it here. We had to fall through. We wicked through, couldn't make it, so it became resistance. Remember, old support becomes new resistance. We blasted through it as if it never existed. We came back down, and where did we touch? The same old spot of resistance. So 1575 is like the new bottom for gold, honestly. And it's 1, 2, almost like a double bottom. This V-shaped recovery and these huge moves, something like that, you got to just watch for. That was an insane move to the market. Kind of did damage to almost everything and anyone out there. If you didn't lose money, you weren't playing the market at that point. Now, Amazon back up to 2,000. Strong. Going strong. Looking good. Really looking good. Coming back to the top of its trend line, though. Told you we need to watch the top of the trend line there, because if it hits the top of the trend line and starts to come back down, we could see Amazon back at 1779, and that still would be good. They're all in a rising wedge, though, which really worries me. Amazon in a rising wedge. Bitcoin in a rising wedge. The Dow fell out of that rising wedge, exactly. That's the only thing that actually happened correctly, completely correctly, was this was a rising wedge, which is a 68% chance of a break to the upside. It kind of went out of it parabolically. We could kind of make it like that, but this is really what it was. This was the wedge it was in. Did the parabolic breakout, which you think, wow, now it double topped, and boom, the collapse was created. Now I'm still holding my idea for the Dow to go down out of this falling wedge back to 16,000. So I wouldn't give up on this SPXU short. I know it's been hard times for the short, but honestly, I wouldn't give up on it. It's coming out of a MACD cross now. I think the end is over for the pain here. We do have a doji candle there, which is basically, usually if that stays like that, that will mean a reversal in the trend line. Again, I think I see hidden bullish divergence yet again. We have a low here, and we have another low right there. And then if we take it, and we take the same low here, and this is by the dotted line, and we go to this line here, that's the same low, and we bring it to here, that's when we also have hidden bullish divergence. We have a slant. Actually, no hidden bullish divergence. That needs to be up. So no hidden bullish divergence. We just have actual bad divergence. Showing you there could be some more downside actually, but in my opinion, I wouldn't be nibbling at this. Like getting in a little more. Like I have a $5,000. I'd put $1,000 in at 20. I'd have another couple grand for 18, and maybe save my last stockpile for 16 if possible. And if it bounces quick and you miss that wick, then I would just double in between 18 and 20. Have my $5,000 position between between 16 and 20, hopefully, and then ride this up. My man got the COVID-19 haircut. Yeah, right. I didn't even like it, man. It was just like, it just happened. My wife started cutting my hair. Then she went too strong with one. Next thing you know, I touched my hair. I said, "Yo, you just gave me a spot." Shit, now we have to do the whole hair. And I've never had my head bald in my life. I've always had hair. I've always just used my hair in different ways. I'm not balding in any way, thank God. But as you get older, it's like, damn, I don't want to shave my hair. What if I lose it? But shout out to Don Juan, man. Don Juan, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the market today? What do you think's going to happen? What are you playing? What are you projecting? Any shorts on the... I think we're in for a short, in my opinion. I think you could short this top area at least back to 6,600, or at least back to this trend line of 6,800, right? Get a quick little $500 short, apparently. That's what's looking ripe to me, but that's just something I'm looking at. I don't know what you're thinking, but that's just something I'm looking at. So keep looking at this wedge, the 21-day moving average, the MACD cross not too strong. It's going to go up a little more, and then it's going to start curling down. So we're in for that downward spot, downward coming, like just like this. In the white, it happens in the white of the green, the light green, if you call it, right? Right there is where we had our down. So you can have down without even a MACD cross. See that? Just interesting to see. On the daily, too, strong. So we have some other cool news. Could see a big, long squeeze up to 9K. Bull trap. Interesting. See, I never even thought that on my radar because we're getting blocked by the moving average. Could see a big, long squeeze up to 9K. Bull trap. Interesting. Are you going to play that long? Are you in long right now? I'm long right now from 6,800. 68.35. Are you long? Are you long, my friend? I'm very long. Don't question me. Don't you dare question me. No, but yeah, let the channel know what you're up to. Be cool to see what's going on. Now I do Instagram ads for my YouTube, but I didn't do an Instagram ad the past few days. I guess I should do one every day. I just don't want to bombard my Instagram with stuff like that, but I guess, you know what, Instagram is a moving target and it changes a lot. I think I need to get into TikTok, honestly. TikTok is moving faster than ever, so hell no, I'll play that short just watching now. So you'll play the short when it hits 9K. Basically, you'll be waiting, or you're going to try to play a short even right now, down to 68. So you're basically a short seller. Like, you very rarely play a long. Now you have a long-term holding in Bitcoin, right? You keep a long-term holding, but you definitely want to just play the short. It's kind of like your thing, is to play shorts. I guess it's your pocket, right? It's where you feel the most comfortable, where you know you'll make the most gains. No, you'll wait. Interesting. So you're going to wait to 9K, and then that's going to be your money short down. Interesting. Why not play both? Why not ride it up? If you think it's going to go to 9K, why not ride it up? It'll be too hard to switch the money in time. Like, you got to be ready on that short wick. I'm just wondering how you figure out these things, because I think you make more money than I do trading. So I'd like to learn from people that make more money than me. you know. Gold's still holding 16 and going up to 1655. Let's see if JNUG's taking any of those gains with it. JNUG 521 up 5.8% today. So it is. Let's look at JNUG on a micro scale because you really got to zoom into JNUG to really get a good look at it. Let's look at it on the 2 hour. Now, if that's not a bottomed asset, I don't know what is. I mean, it was so oversold down here. Now it's just kind of milking itself. This is consolidation, in my opinion. Heavy consolidation and breaking above 2 moving averages, which is strong. And, you know, they're actually curving up. These are curving down. We could see some crosses happening with some lower moving averages to some higher moving averages. Volume slightly declining. Not too bad. Still kind of strong and volatile, as you can see. A lot of selling and buying. A lot more selling right now in the last few days. A little bit of nibbles here. The MACD cross coming is pretty flat. It's interesting. I think you got to hold this long term to see it really come up. Yes, I play the long and shorts, but Bitcoin has been in an overall downtrend. So I like to short the tops in a downtrend. Interesting. I see what you're saying. Like, why not, right? Like, this is clearly a downtrend, right? Lower, low, lower, low, lower, low. Even this low isn't above this low. So until we break this low, we're not even going to discuss being in an uptrend, right? We are above moving averages, though, which is good on the 2 hour. On the daily, not so much. On the daily, we just made it above the 21. So, yes, we're still in a downtrend. I mean, you can see it clearly. Till we break this trend line. Short the tops, baby. Interesting. Now we could play this widening wedge like this. And lately I've been doing 2 trend lines. I just feel like I think other people are doing it too because I'm seeing it occur. So kind of something like this. So we're at the top of this first trend line. These are broadening wedges. I don't like these. I like when things consolidate small. When they get wide, it's not the best thing. And I only play a short if we break the rising wedge or if I see a long squeeze. Nothing in between. How do you identify the long squeezes, though? Like, how do you get prepared for that? How do you know when you're going to see a long squeeze? That's why I want to interview on the show one day and have you just come on and, like, chart it up and just kind of, like, break it down. Show us kind of your strategy or how you wake up in the morning, what you do. Do you chart like me? Are your charts different than mine? Are you using different indicators? It'd just be interesting. Make me want to look at the market cipher real quick just to see what it's saying. It's saying to buy at these bottoms here. I mean, it definitely called this bottom with a green dot. Boom. Called another slight bottom. Put a MACD buy signal right here at 58. And it still hasn't flashed the sell signal yet. So it's something interesting to look at. No blood diamond yet either. So it doesn't look like we're going to have a huge downturn anytime soon. The money line is coming up green out of the red zone, which means more money. Stochastic RSI, very overbought though. Very overbought and double topping. That's an indication something could happen. MACD cross coming up, but the red is beginning. So it's looking like it's starting to turn down. Just something to think about. Not looking too healthy. Amazon though, just doing its thing, man. Really doing its thing. On its way. We do have a red circle on this, which usually sends the price possibly down. Oh no, green dot. Green dot. Huh. This is also very overbought though. All this stuff has to come down a little bit. Let's see what the Dow says. The Dow is very overbought as well. On the stochastics RSI, we're overbought. On the RSI, we're just kind of hanging out right here. So, interesting. Very interesting. Did try to give you buy signals here with the low of the green dots though. But not always good. Like you could have bought here and you would have made money, but then you would have been in the crash. But look, they all do represent big moves. If you got on these green dots, boom. These green dots, boom. These green dots, boom. And these green dots, boom. So, is the rally over though? Was that all we got? You know, we'll see. We'll see. I'm still calling for a $16,000 Dow. And if that happens, it's going to take Bitcoin down with it, which I don't like to say. So I'm thinking maybe we're going to get a big push up, like he's saying too. It kind of coincides with his idea. Bitcoin will take that move up back to 9,000. So when the all tanks and we go back to 5,000, at least we won't see 3,800 again. Like, I can handle 5,000 again. I don't know if I can handle 3,000s. The 3,000s were sketchy times, man. I didn't like those times at all. Not good. Let's just check up on the gold buying. Let's see if you can buy gold again. Every day I want to check this up for you guys. This is where I would buy gold, at goldsilver.com. Perfect buy site, you know. We add that to cart. Continue to the cart. And 3 to 5 weeks, get your gold bar. So that's cool. Usually it takes like 1 to 2 weeks or something. So, hey, I'm cool with that. Buying a gold bar, waiting 3 to 5 weeks. No worries. Crypto fear and index has increased up to 21. It was just at 23, though. You saw it just skip a beat there. Extreme fear, still in this extreme fear area, but we're down at 9 or 12, which I think is going to happen again once we boom up. We'll get back into this region. That tells you it's time to sell your Bitcoin, honestly. You want to buy in here and sell over here. You could really just do this, and you could make money doing that. I'm telling you right now. You really could. Gold 1650, Bitcoin 7260, really holding that region. Pretty strong, man. Pretty strong. Could we get back to 9,000? That would be awesome. Even if it tanks back to 6, because I know there's going to be another tank. So we need Bitcoin to get up a little bit before the huge tank. You know what I'm saying? So when it does crash, it doesn't crash too bad. I want to look at XRP and give XRP a little look. Give it some love right now. Link 282. Link boomed up out of control. Look at break out of this wedge. The buy down here with the green dots. If you just buy on these green dots, a lot of the times you're going to make some money. 182 up basically damn near $1 on 182. And that only took from the 20th of March, so about 30 days. So very, very interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, just getting that started. We'll come back all the way. See, what I like to do is just erase this and play this triangle as if it was just at the top of this triangle and came down here. Hit the triangle, came back to the trend line, play games, just kind of piece this back in here, because this is just a mess to look at. And now it's kind of playing out just like it played out before, back in the triangle, right? Buy zone at 182. Never thought you'd get back into this 176 region when it pumped up all the way to 480. But I see the target at 546, so big things coming for Link. Just something to look at. I definitely think we're going to have that pullback, though, so how long until everything tanks again? It's like you got to get the money while you can. We're going to have a little bump up, and then we're going to have a crash down. It's just, I think it's going to happen pretty bad, because I think it's going to happen to the market. And I wish Bitcoin was impervious. Like, it didn't happen. But I remember when I told you to buy Tezos at 120, I made my green buy zone. I said this would be a good time to accumulate some Tezos, and I nailed it there. Nailed it. Made some nice gains there off of my call. Again, this isn't financial advice. Speak to a financial planner. This is for entertainment purposes only. Read the disclaimer in the description. But yes, if you like my ideas, I said get in at 120, up now 60%. So there you go. Data making some moves. Another coin I like to look at. And let's look at a little bit of XRP. XRP, here we go. XRP doing something similar again. A lot of these things just broke out and then broke down. Now they're back in these funny little patterns. We had a green buy zone flashing right here at a MACD buy too at 13. So that would have carried you over. Let's change this. Let me delete these. We don't need to see these anymore. Now, what's up with the price action with XRP? It's starting to flag right now, honestly. Top of this other second trend line that I drew, because it's here and here and here. Almost like this was just a parabolic move, like up here. They look similar as well. What are these blue and yellow, red things going on? Well, these are MACD buy and sells, MACD strategy. You can turn it off. But it basically just shows you where to buy and sell with the MACD. So buy here. Hasn't put out a sell signal yet, but eventually you'll get like a sell signal. So you would have bought here, sold there, made money. You would have bought here, sold there, made money. Sometimes you should just sell higher tops too. Buy there, no sell signal. So you got, or sell right there was where the sell signal was. So you can look at that though. Definitely worth looking at. It can help too. It's kind of like a coach, little coach. WRX token, something worth looking at. It flagged, and I said it would be basically if you got in right here, I said get a nice 46% gains, and it's on its way from the bottom of that trend line. in this flag. So it's just something to look at. And let's look at my H bar trade, which I'm still in, hugging it. What's up with NKN? Consolidating, kind of everything's in these rising wedges though, which are gonna fall, like, which is freaking me out. Like, they're just not patterns I'm comfortable with. I'm comfortable with like triangles and falling wedges, and these have every single thing in a rising wedge. Just isn't my thing, man. It just doesn't. Again, this is a MACD buy. I told you. And you had the bottom of the trend line, 43. Everything went up this week. I mean, there was money to be made this week. Almost everything went up. So we're looking at H bar. It's not really holding my zone. We had some bullish divergence there. Now let's look at this. If I just take off my indicators, and we'll put on a better template, a cleaner template. Above the 21-day moving average and above all the other 3 moving averages, we just have to get this 21 above that, and then we're looking really good. MACD cross 2 on the daily, so this is very strong. We do show a little white now though, which is like, but I think we might have something like this going, where we're just consolidating before we erupt. I think this is gonna get big. I think there's no reason to leave this trade. It's taken a lot longer than I thought. I've been in it now since the 3rd. It's crazy. This has been a 5-day trade, which to me is a long time. Unless I'm going long and not thinking about it, and that goes on like a hardware wallet and just disappears into the abyss. Engine Coin pumping today, up another 10%. Really like Engine Coin. From its low of 4 cents, it's already up damn near 100%. So that day of the bloodbath was really time to buy, like they say. Every time you see blood in the streets, just gobble up some coins. Gobble something up. You know, I bought some XRP live in the middle of all that. I tried a 100x leverage trade on like $300. Some Bitcoin got obliterated immediately, but I tried it. I thought I picked the bottom, but apparently I didn't, you know. So there you go. That's how to lose. Don't leverage trade. I don't do it much, and I don't advise unless you really know what you're doing and you have your emotions on till. But until then, you need to chill with the leverage trading. But we went as high as 289, 292 almost, and we peaked, man. We got hit by that moving average. See how the moving averages? People were taking money on them. Look, someone was like, I'll play from here to there. You can clearly see, and someone with a lot of money did it. And I think other people piled on the same idea. So it's not a coincidence that on the daily we hit that moving average right there. So just something to think about. Okay. Yeah, but that's it for today. Going over this up for the morning, 9:30 to 10 o'clock. Just what I'm going to try to keep doing is showing you guys the markets, showing you my ideas. And now let's get into the news. Tim Draper, pandemic could be the tipping point for Bitcoin. If you don't know who Tim Draper is, look him up on Wikipedia. He's a 3rd-generation venture capitalist. Basically, he bought tons of Bitcoin from the Ross Albright when they were auctioned off by the federal government. The global spread for the coronavirus played a major role in the dramatic 2020 stock market crash. The bailout bill for saving the world's economy is $7 trillion and rising fast. Bitcoin bull Tim Draper believes this confluence of factors may be the tipping point that allows innovations such as Bitcoin and smart contracts to flourish. In an interview on April 6th, the global venture capital investor said he was skeptical about the government's infinite money printing bailout plan and said it would take years before that money permeates the global economy. They're going to be printing all this money to try to get the economy back after they've basically tanked it, he said. They're going to flood it with a bunch of money, and that money is going to be worth less and less and less. Draper believes people will start turning to Bitcoin as it has a fixed supply, in stark contrast to fiat, which is being printed into the billions by central banks. This is going to be a really interesting time where people say, well, why don't I just use Bitcoin? I know there are only 21 million of them, and we don't have to worry about what a government is diluting their currency by printing tons of it. We can instead just use a currency we all agree on, and it's all part of the economy, and it's already frictionless and open and transparent and global. End of globalization? No. Although there's a debate on whether coronavirus may end the trend towards globalization over the past 25 years, Draper believes digital finance innovations like Bitcoin, smart contracts, and artificial intelligence will force governments to compete among themselves and all the virtual level to bring better services at lower costs to attract talents. This in return will empower people with more choices to move freely and live in a loving and nicer new global world, he added. It doesn't matter whether you are from the US, China, Russia, or India, or Europe, or whatever. We're an open world, and then the geographic borders are going to mean less and less. Yeah, I agree with him for sure. Sophie announces acquired payment processor Galileo in $1.2 billion deal. California-based crypto-friendly financial firm Social Finance, Sophie, is acquiring the digital payment platform Galileo. An April 7th press release announced that it has signed an agreement to pay $1.2 billion for Galileo Financial Technologies. According to a CNBC report, the payment will consist of $75 million in cash, $875 million in stock, and $255 million in seller financial debt. You see, when you see stuff like this, you already know that's an indication of how bad our financial system is. They're buying something for $1.2 billion, but they only have 75 cash on hand. The rest is stocks, which to me is kind of manipulated cash, and $250 million in seller financing debt. So there's more debt than there is cash here, because even the stocks are basically probably based on debt. As you can see, where there's really no money. I mean, there's $1.2 billion being acquired, but I don't know. Sophie CEO Anthony Noto addressed how the partnership will help the current financial market. Together with Galileo, we will partner to build our company's strength to drive even greater financial technology innovation, making those products and services available to both current and future partners. The financial firm has seen increasing demand since it launched zero-fee crypto trading on its platform, Sophie Invest, in September 2019. So that's pretty interesting. Ray Dalio trusts cash again as a source of value. Members of the crypto community who have long had long had a dream of asking billionaire about investments, economics, finally got their chance on Tuesday as Ray Dalio, a co-chief investment officer and co-chairman of major investment firm Bridgewater Associates, hosted an online Ask Me Anything AMA on Reddit. The session covered questions from the public on everything from COVID-19 and its effect on the economy, to which asset class Dalio believed would do well, and the future of both the US dollar, Bitcoin, and gold in the light of the massive government stimulus program. To the disappointment of the members in the Reddit community, however, Dalio avoided all questions concerning Bitcoin and whether we could see it emerge as a widely used form of money. Early this year, he said that Bitcoin is too volatile to act as a proper store of value. Asked about his view on how the unprecedented amount of money injection into the economy will impact the future of the US dollar, however, Dalio explained that the US dollar is still performing well for now because it's the world's reserve currency. The world desperately needs dollars, and as a result, this is a global shortage of them, which supports the dollar, the famous investor said, although he added that this is a status that will not last forever. The dollar will weaken when those who are holding dollar-denominated debt no longer want to hold that debt because the interest rates are inadequate and so much dollar-denominated debt and money is being created that the value is undermined. Answering a similar question on why cash is now favored by investors, despite it being printed in massive quantities by central banks, Dalio clarified by saying, "So I still think that cash is trash relative to other alternatives, particularly those that will remain their value or increase their value over reflection, some gold and some stocks." Finally, Dalio was also asked about his view on the current market environment around the world and what differences exist between countries. To this, Dalio explained that the U.S. is in a better position than many other countries because it essentially controls the world reserve currency. The U.S. government, including the central government and the central bank, is the unique position of being able to provide the money and credit that the world needs because the U.S. dollar is the world's dominant reserve currency, he said, before adding a word of caution. I believe that increasingly there will be questions by bondholders who are receiving negative real and nominal interest rates, while there's a lot of printing of money about whether the debt assets they are holding are good stores of wealth. I believe that cash, which is non-interesting bare money, will not be the safest asset to hold, the investor added. In fact, Tuesday's AMA is not the first time Dalio has taken part in such sessions with the public. But then it says here, Ray Dalio looking for next base currency gives Bitcoin hope. Ray Dalio, American billionaire, chief officer of Bridgewater global investment firm, when he criticizes the current fiat money system, but does not mention Bitcoin. This made a number of people ask why that is. However, his earlier comments show that Dalio did not write off cryptocurrency completely. The viral report with overwhelming positive comments said that approximately every 10 years, due to unstable factors, a new paradigm begins where the markets operate opposite of how they did in the previous one. Dalio said that a single approach to investing will experience a time when it performs so terribly that it can ruin you, including cash, which is not risk-free and can be depreciated in value as the central banks can print it. Moreover, he added, it's also a good time to ask what will be the next best currency or storehold of wealth to have when most reserve currency and central bankers want to devalue their currencies in fiat currency system. Paradigm shift. Only 50% of Bitcoiners think the price of Bitcoin will go up. Genesis Mining surveyed 750 Bitcoin holders. 50% believe Bitcoin's halving won't impact its price in the short term. Many are still worried about centralization. A report from Genesis Mining shows that 50% of Bitcoiners think the price of Bitcoin will go up in the next 3 months. The State of Crypto Report 2020, which interviewed 750 Bitcoin holders, found that 32% believe that the price will fall over the next 3 months. I think that's skewed. I mean, you could get 750 of the wrong people. I don't like statistics like that. I don't buy that. That just throws my consciousness off. Italian Red Cross builds COVID-19 medical post with donated Bitcoin. On April 5th, Italy's Blood Donation Day, the Italian Red Cross constructed an advanced medical post using funds generated through a crypto fundraiser. The Italian Red Cross has raised nearly $32,000 through cryptocurrency donations in less than 1 month. Roughly $22,000 has been used to finance the construction of the initiative's first advanced medical post in the town of Castel Gandolfo near Rome. The funds were spent by the initiative to purchase a pneumatic tent that will house the medical post in addition to other materials. The tent was erected during Italy's Blood Donation Day and used as a screening station for pre-donation medical examinations. That's pretty cool, man. I like to see Bitcoin helping out in the world. UFC fighter Ben Askren shows support for the Bitcoin halving. Former UFC fighter has changed his Twitter name to Bitcoin halving May 13th. He also speculated about the price of Bitcoin. In the past, the fighter was sponsored by Litecoin Foundation. Former UFC fighter Ben Askren has voiced his support for Bitcoin by changing his public name to Twitter to Bitcoin halving May 13th. The Bitcoin halving, currently scheduled for May 13th, is an event while mining rewards are cut in half. This means that the new supply of Bitcoin gets cut in half. When asked about the direction Bitcoin's price may take after the halving, Askren answered with just a crescent emoji implying, "It'll go to the moon," a phrase that in crypto circles means up. Meanwhile, bullish sentiments toward crypto are hardly uncharacteristic for Askren. Last October, he sparked a Bitcoin versus gold debate on Twitter. Someone gives you $10,000 you can't touch for 10 years. Would you rather have a 10K gift in gold, Bitcoin, or U.S. Treasury bonds? Askren asked his 270,000 at the time Twitter followers. After the poll was closed, 49% of the 64,000 people had cast their votes for Bitcoin. What else did they ask for?
What's up, Litecoin community? I just wanted to thank you for the sponsorship for UFC 235. I'm especially honored to represent you guys because you are a cause and something that I believe in. Obviously, I hold a lot of Litecoin myself, and I think it's especially great when not just that I get a sponsorship, but when I get one that I believe in, that I think can help make a better future, and I think all of you guys see that vision.
I'm also heavy in Litecoin. I have over 100 Litecoins. I don't know why I really believe in Litecoin. I like Litecoin. I think it's going to have its day in the sun. OTC spreads exceeds 10% amid Bitcoin's volatile crash. So people were buying a lot of Bitcoin, man, when we crashed. The crash began on March 12th. The bid-ask spread for batches of 25 Bitcoin bounced from close to single-digit basis points to 200 on its platform, equating to roughly 5%. The report also notes spread exceedingly 10% on top of the top spots exchange during March 13th. The analysis shows even more extreme volatility for traders on batches of 100 Bitcoins each, with multiple exchanges seeing spreads of 400 basis points or higher throughout the crash. Retail cryptos generate record volume during the crash. So, I mean, a lot is still happening with Bitcoin. Look at the Dow. You could buy gold, the crypto index 21, and we're looking at CoinMarketCap. Let's get back into the markets and see what's happening on the Gus funds. Okay. The Dow now just lost everything it had. So crazy, right? Looking like it's going to become a red day for the Dow. Well, the Dow's got to come back down to this trend line at 2218. So it's got to lose 600 points real fast. That's just what has to happen, as you can see. I mean, it gapped up. Now it has to come back down. I like the 30-minute more because you can see the gaps play out a little better. When you hit the daily, like, it just gaps out of nowhere because it's a daily gap, right? So you can't get a hold on it. But the 1 hour kind of gives you a better picture. So we went up, we came down, we went up, and we're going to come back down. Look at it. I drew this down here, this white line. And so far, I've nailed it. I mean, and I didn't nail it. I mean, all I did was draw a pattern and show you that this stocks stay inside of patterns, right? We did break out of this falling wedge we were in, which, as you can see, we kind of accomplished our feat too. That's another thing to think about, like rising wedge. It should pop up, and there it is. Boom. It's completed. It's over now. People will sell off. Basically, people are buying these and watching these and then selling them exactly at the points where they find them at. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's just what happens when you see this going on. Netflix holding well. You think Netflix will hold well. JNUG, I just want to see JNUG not break down 5 when the Dow goes down even more. But it's tough to see, wow, the Dow back up 50 points. So it's moving volatile. Like how does it just go from 50? How did it just move 50 points? Boom. Like in a second. But, yeah. SPXU at 2076. Bunch of different things going on. But yeah, that's the SPXU short. I think this, look at this, man. It just boom at 19. I told you to take a nibble at 19. Boom. Already went up 2%. Damn, you got it at 19. You made $2 today. You could have just traded this and made 10%. Look at that. Made 10% from open. Damn near from open. Wow. Pretty interesting. So yeah, I would keep shorting the Dow, man. I would have a long position in the SPXU short on the Dow. And I wouldn't get worried when you're down pretty big if you went on, if you got in around here 26. I would just kind of dollar cost average yourself and hold this, because this is going to erupt. And look, we have a MACD cross coming here on the 1 hour. So it hasn't even occurred yet. So I think some more gains coming, which shows that there's going to be more pain for the Dow today. I think the Dow closes down like between 200 and 400 points. And that's where we end. And then we'll look at our buddy Bitcoin. Gold, 1648. Come on, gold, stay above 1650. But as I said before, it's going to range. It's in a falling wedge now, too. Let's look at the target. Just keep making new targets, right? So it's in this falling wedge. Almost a bull flag as well. Kind of a flag. We got our trend line, and boom. Puts gold back up here at 1694, 17. You know, we'll hit 1700 if it does that. So there's my call right there. We basically drew this line here recently. We said we were in a falling wedge. We drew this here. Now we'll come back to this in the next few days, and we'll see how we did. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. And remember, crypto is life. I appreciate every single one that comes to the channel, comments,